They weren't celebrities. They didn't have a million followers. They were just like you and me. People with ordinary names but extraordinary hearts. They were told, "You can't," but they replied, "Watch me." And that's the energy we bring to today's story, right here on Voice to Victory. If you've ever been pushed down, laughed at, told your dreams were too big, then this episode is your mirror, your fuel, your proof that you are not alone. Because what if I told you that failure isn't your enemy? It's your training partner. So let's meet the people who fell hard and stood taller. And as we go, ask yourself, which part of their fight reflects your own? What's the one dream you refuse to bury, no matter how many times it's been stepped on? First one on the list is the story of the girl who was too normal. For a crown Teresa, Scanlan was never the crowd favorite. No modeling resume, no spotlight. Just a girl from Gering, Nebraska, who stumbled in her first pageants. She'd lose, go home, cry. Judges told her, "You're not standout material. You'll never win nationally." But here's the thing about quiet fighters. They don't quit. They build in silence. Teresa worked on herself relentlessly. No fanfare, just fire. And in 2011, at just 17, she stood on stage, tears in her eyes, and was crowned Miss America. She silenced everyone, not with words, but with results. And maybe that's your story too. Maybe you've been dismissed. Maybe people look past you. But deep inside, you know you're more. So here's my question to you. What are you working on in silence right now that the world will soon applaud? Comment your dream below. Let this moment be your line in the sand. Let them underestimate you. It'll be their biggest mistake. Second story is of the soldier who lost his legs, but never his mission. Mast, a U.S. Army bomb disposal technician. One moment, he was clearing roads in Afghanistan. The next, he was waking up in a hospital with both legs gone. Now stop for a second. What would you do? If you lost everything that once defined you, would you sink, or would you redefine yourself? Brian chose the second. He stood again, on prosthetic legs, then ran for Congress. And today he's in Washington, shaping laws and helping others like him. He went from battlefield scars to political armor. What's the biggest explosion that's rocked your world? Not just physically, but emotionally, spiritually. Maybe it's betrayal, loss, rejection. Share it in the comments, because every time you name your pain, you take power from it. Always remind yourself, you were given this mountain to show others it can be moved. Third one on the list is the story of the CEO they tried to erase. Katrina, who wasn't welcome at the startup table. She didn't code like the bros. She didn't wear the hoodie unicorn image of Silicon Valley. But she had a vision, Stitch Fix, fashion powered by data. Investors rolled their eyes. Her own board tried to push her out. They told her, "You're not CEO material." And maybe you've heard that too. You don't look the part. You're not what we expect. But Katrina stayed in the ring. She rebuilt her team. She relearned her own business. And in 2017, holding her baby in one arm, she rang the NASDAQ bell as the youngest female founder to take a company public. They said she couldn't, so she did, twice. Have you ever had to prove you belong somewhere? Not by talking louder, but by letting your results speak for you. Tell us your "I'll show you" story in the comments. Success is the best revenge. Let your hustle make the noise. Fourth story is of the orphan who became a champion, Jessica Long, who was born without legs, abandoned in a Siberian orphanage, adopted into an American family. The odds were stacked sky high, but Jessica wasn't born to fit odds. She was born to break them. At age 12, she entered her first Paralympic Games, and then she didn't stop winning. Today, with 23 Paralympic medals, she's a living legend. But behind each medal were surgeries, pain, and doubt. What do you carry that no one sees? What part of your life hurts but hasn't broken you? Share it. Own it. Because your wound could be someone else's survival guide. Just remember, you don't need perfect legs to take powerful steps. Last one for today is the story of the man rejected by Facebook. Who built WhatsApp? Brian Acton, who was just a guy looking for a job. He applied to Facebook, rejected. Tried Twitter, rejected again. He could have quit, but instead, he started building. And he built WhatsApp. In 2014, Facebook, the same company that rejected him, paid $19 billion to buy it. That's not just poetic justice. That's engineering destiny. Where have you been rejected lately? A job, a dream, a person? Comment. Rejection isn't the end. It's the redirection I needed. Just remember, sometimes not getting what you want is the greatest blessing. Each of these people had every reason to quit. They had pain, loss, rejection. But they also had something else, a refusal to stay down, a decision to get back up, one more time, a belief that scars are just signs of survival. So here's the real question. What's your story going to be? Not the one the world expects, but the one you choose to write. Drop your biggest dream in the comments. Not the one that feels safe, the one that feels scary. And write this loud and proud. I am still standing. If this story moved you, inspired you, or reminded you who you really are, hit that like button, subscribe to Voice to Victory, and become part of our warrior tribe. It's always impossible until it's done. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. Until next time, keep falling, keep rising, and always, always turn your voice into victory.